Hi viewers, welcome back to God Family of TV. My name is Awo Andy Awinka, the convener of this platform. By the grace of God, we have a very striking topic at hand titled Strategies for Boosting Sexual Intimacy Between Couples. Strategies for boosting sexual intimacy between couples. The Bible says in the account of Genesis that on the sixth day, God, having created all he created, and man, and God saw that this is well good. But at the later end, God also said that it is not good for man to be alone. Why? Because God, every other animals God created on earth were male and female. But in the case of man, man was the only human that was created at that time. So God said it is not good for man to be alone. Hence, I will make a helper suitable for him. Now, I want to prove to you that God, in the creation of mankind, as the combination of male and female, God originally knows the intention of, or the intention of providing sexual intimacy, because he wants man to give birth after his own kind, that's procreation, and also for pleasure. So because of this, God intentionally made provision for sexual intimacy. So it's not an afterthought plan. It was part of God's agenda for mankind. So sex is God's idea for procreation. He thought it up and he created male and female with the plan that the two shall become one flesh. That's when a man and a woman comes together, they become one. And what the end of it is pregnancy, and that pregnancy has the photos. That photos has life. So when the male and female come together, they produce life, and that life creates that oneness. In one of my former video, I said that before. For this to be possible, God, having created man, he made a distinction between them by creating one Adam male with a penis, that is the manhood, and the other he created the other female with a vagina. God was very discreet during the creation process that he fixed these different sex organs at the places he thought it best that they should be, in order to make the act of sex pleasurable, that's enjoyable, accessible, you don't need to look for it, and easy to function. So God had the intention that man should produce after this guy. So God endorsed sex in marriage. So sex is part of God's idea for creating man and for establishing a marriage union. With this perfect act of creation, it means that God actually knows the intention for mankind to experience a high taste of pleasure in order to reduce all forms of stress, tiredness, and sadness that he would have encountered during the day. So all I'm saying is that sex is part of God's idea for creation for the marriage union. Sex is part of God's idea for creation and for the marriage union. In the part two of this video, of my video, I'm going to shoot today. In that part two, I said that God, in fact, have proofs that no, it took the consensus of the Trinity, that's the consensus of the Godhead, to establish to establish sex in the marriage union. Yes, God the Father gave consensus that sex must be there. God the Son also gave consensus. That's agreement. And so it took the agreement of these three distinct percent of the Godhead to approve and to establish sex in marriage. So sex is part of God's idea for creation and is not an afterthought. Remember, strategies for boosting sexual performances, sexual intimacy between couples. Lack of sexual intimacy kills marriage. The reason why a lot of persons fall out of love or falls out of goes into cheat and all is because they are being starved sexually by their couples. And in one of my videos, I talked about I said why couples cheat. I love that video so much. I did love working that video. Why couples, and I said that some of the couples cheat is when their needs are not met. So sexual for boosting sexual intimacy in marriage. We are going to look at a lot of things we need to know and how can you boost the sexual performances and desires between each couples in marriage. God, he even placed a book called Sons of Solomon. And the essence of Sons of Solomon is to tell you that indeed God has a finger in the creation of marriage and in the establishment of sex. God deliberately placed sex for couples to explore and to enjoy themselves. That is why I love reading Sons of Solomon. And I'm telling you that if you've read that book also somewhere and you don't feel aroused, don't feel like making love, my brother, my sister, you have a problem. Because Solomon, God, by the grace of God, Solomon, through divine inspiration and wisdom, took time to finish work in that book. So that book was placed at the middle of the book or middle of the Bible to prove to you that God deliberately established a certain one for couples to enjoy themselves and for it to be accessible, for pleasure, and for easy love making. In Sons of Solomon chapter 1, verse 2, let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine. Then I will run down to Sons of Solomon chapter 3, verse 1, chapter 3, verse 4. It was but a little that I passed from them, but I found him whom my soul loveth. I held him and would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house and into chambers of her tent. Then I conceived him. So we are saying that God actually approves. So sex is part of God's ideal for the marriage union. Stay tuned and I love you.